Kenneth Cobonpue. I'm an industrial designer from Cebu. I create furniture, lighting, accessories. I design spaces, structures, transportation, anything from jewelry, anything that expresses this very unique aesthetic that I've discovered coming from a combination of the craftsmanship and skills from my city and the materials that I find all around me. My mother was a furniture designer who built her own furniture really at the back of our house. So I grew up with all the craftsmen, so I built my own toys. I made things that flew, that crawled, that rolled, and I built bridges over our fish pond, and I fell into it many times. And what I love most about my childhood was when I made things and brought them to my mom, and would make her smile. And so right after high school, when it was time to pick a course, I wanted to take up design, but my dad said there was no money in it, so he forced me to take up business. After about 2 years in business, I wanted to do what I love, and make that shift to design. I didn't make it when I applied to design school because I couldn't draw well enough. So I took off a year just learning again how to draw, and it was really a setback for me, but that didn't hinder me from realizing my ambitions. And after that, then I applied to New York. I went to school there for 4 years, spent some time in Italy and Germany, and then I came back. From then, I discovered a new aesthetic in furniture design, which was kind of unique in the world today. And then I started to create all the collections that I've been known for using these open, transparent weaves. And from there, I progressed to more different complex things that range from furniture to large-scale structures. I think I took up design because I wanted to make people smile and continue my childhood. I like it when I create things and people connect to it personally by way of memories or from their experiences. And I think I like it when an object can create that connection between me and the end user. And so from there, whenever I take my designs, it gives me fulfillment. In many of the shows I attend, I am the only Filipino abroad, and it's become like a home, a temporary haven for a lot of our compatriots and OFWs abroad. And they come and they tell me how proud they are when they see my designs, because they always get to say, oh, he's from the Philippines. And that makes me happy, because I think that the Filipino craftsman is second to none, and the designer, the creative, is really skilled. He's just not known in the world today. Growing up, a career in the creative field was unheard of for a Filipino-Chinese, right? You were either a businessman or an engineer or some serious money-making profession. In design, there was just not much money in design. And so I had to always, I had to go against that stereotype, not only here, but in the world also. I think when you're Filipino and you try to sell things that are expensive, that are in a very high-end market, people don't expect that. And people think that it has to be cheap because it comes from a poor country. And I'm always trying to fight that misconception that people have. My mother used to work a lot with rattan, and I'm very familiar with the material, and I still love to work with rattan. It's still my main material. So much so that Time magazine wrote an article and said I was rattan's first virtuoso. I think it was my mom, actually. I think it's really difficult to choose one award is important because they were given in different points in my life, and they were all very important. Most of them were. There's the Design for Asia Award in Hong Kong, which is a very prestigious award actually. No Filipino has ever won it. And then there is Maison Objet in Paris. Made me their first Asian Designer of the Year. They usually have a European Designer of the Year. And again, it's the only Filipino to have ever won that award. And to be the first in a long line of other very prominent and notable creative people. When you're first, you set the standard for that award. I think is very prestigious. I recently won with architect Baxia for the design for the Cor Jesu Chapel in the Sacred Heart in Ateneo, which got shortlisted for the World Architectural Festival. And it's the first building here in Cebu to be shortlisted. And I think that should make us all very proud. I think the biggest problem facing the furniture industry or anything that's handmade is that no one wants to make things anymore by hand. When I look at my weavers, they're aging. Their average age is around 50, and most of their kids are in college, which means they don't want to become weavers like their parents. And that's going to be a problem. They want a better life for themselves, and they go through school, they want to work in offices, and you see the same thing happening around the world. And so what I try to do is try to make it possible for people to still earn very good living from making things by hand. And that's why it is expensive. It is expensive to make things in our country. I've been asked a lot of times if I want to make things for the common man. And I said, yes, it's every designer's dream to have their designs in everyone's home. But then it wouldn't be made in the Philippines anymore. And so I chose to stay here and direct everything that I do in the Philippines, and so that every part of what I do goes back to our country. I'm inspired by the craftsmen who turn my ideas into reality every day. It's amazing that sometimes I do something really difficult and they're more challenged. They're very eager to try it out, to make it work. And I've tried doing this kind of thing in other countries, but it's just not possible. That's why I always chose to remain here in the Philippines, because the Filipino craftsman just loves to be challenged. I'm inspired also by a lot of the people who really save up to get a Cobonpue in their living room. I realized that what I have is not just a brand, it's beyond furniture, it's beyond all these awards. I think what's more important is the inspiration that it gives to young people, that they can make it, that we can make a difference in the world, whatever you do, not only in design, in your profession. You can create something from your experiences, from your environment, and to make something truly unique for the whole world to see. High design is about exposure, and you have to be inspired not just from your own field, but from other things. So I look at a lot of things, from fashion to music to architecture to art. You have to take in all that and also learn how other people live. We are designing, it's become a globalized world, and people don't live that much differently from each other anymore. So we have to understand what people need, how people live. And so I try to find time every day to design. And sometimes it comes, sometimes it doesn't. But what's important is that it's like any sport where you devote a certain time and you have to force it. Try to come up with something. And more practice you have in this transition from idea to reality, the better you get at it. It's not enough just to be creative in this field. You have to have a good head for business. And when you see successful brands and designers out there, it's always a combination of the creative and the practical side of things. And the reason why a lot of people who are creative fail is because they don't have a head for business. And with that comes the discipline to go to work on time, the discipline to put in a lot of work, a lot of effort, and the willingness to say no. These are all very important, much like any field for success. I've heard this told by a friend before. There are 4 things that you need, and I've applied it to my life. That first, you have to love what you do. It's very important you have the passion for whatever you're doing. Second is, it's not important just to like it. You have to be good at it. If you want to be a singer, it's not important you love to sing. You have to be able to sing. And the third is that the world needs whatever you're good at. I can't make ice for Eskimos. They don't need it. And the fourth is that the world is willing to pay for what you do. So you have to, price it right. I think it's very important for a creative person to know a bit about business, at least, bookkeeping and marketing. It's I think you're really selling, especially in the field of design. Of course, if you're selling art, it's very simple. You make something, somebody will like it, somebody will buy it. When you're dealing with design in any field, there are practical things to consider, like of course, price and the need, and then all business is very, very important for you to really go further. So I recommend for any creative person to take up some courses in business. We're always busy. So we launched Star Wars in the US, and Disney gave me the go signal to take anything from the world of Disney, from Mickey Mouse to Marvel, and do something with it. I got similar offers also from the other big studios now. So this is an avenue which I have to decide whether I want to pursue or not. I think what I want to do personally is to make a school, and I'll probably do this when I retire, to pass on the things that I've learned, because I think that I have a lot to contribute in the way a design curriculum is made. I've kind of done it for in part in LaSalle and in Benilde, where I was a consultant, and now I'm doing it personally in my studio, and I want to take it further, of course, by imparting what I've learned to a whole generation of creative people. I think I'd like to put up also my own resort, my own hotel with this aesthetic that I have. I still want to do consultation with government, especially in making public spaces in collaboration with a lot of different people to try to finally make some sense out of our public structures. And there's so many things you can improve in Cebu, starting first from our sidewalks. I think Cebu is a place made for cars and not people. We should start designing this city in terms of livability, mobility, in terms of how people can move from one place to the other but not using cars. And also, we say always that we are a resort city. When you come out from Mactan, you really don't see it because it's all concrete. There's hardly any palm tree. It's not what people think of when they think of a resort, and I think we have to look into that. There's a lot of other problems, of course, like traffic and water and pollution and flooding, but we're there to try to solve this problem one step at a time. So thank you for watching this episode of Masterminds. Please like and share this video. And if you want to know anything more about me, do follow me on Instagram at Kenneth Cobonpue, and same Facebook, also at Kenneth Cobonpue. Thank you.